Imagine this. The safety car comes out, and in the next 30 seconds, a driver who was running fifth suddenly inherits third place, without overtaking a single car. No luck involved. No accident that shuffled the field. Pure strategy. And that's exactly what we're unpacking today, because when that yellow car hits the track, the real race doesn't stop. It just moves from the asphalt to the pit wall, where split-second decisions are worth millions. Safety car periods are the great equalizer in Formula One, and they're also the great divider, because not everyone reads them the same way. When the race director deploys that yellow machine, the gaps on track compress, the pit window opens up, and suddenly a single decision, pit now or stay out, can reshape the entire championship battle. We've seen careers change on safety car strategy. We've seen drivers gain 3 places in 2 laps, and we've seen others lose a certain victory because they misread what the pit wall was thinking. It's not luck, and it's not magic. It's mathematics, psychology, and an intimate understanding of risk that separates the strategists from the rest. So today, we're going deep into how the top teams calculate these moments, why a few tenths in the pit stop window can mean the difference between a podium and 5th place, and how the best drivers in the world trust their engineers when everything's happening in real time. Let's start with what happens the moment that yellow light comes on. Physically, on the car itself. Your driver is doing 200 miles per hour, managing tire temperature, fuel burn, brake pressure. Everything is a delicate balance. Then suddenly, the safety car is deployed. The field bunches up behind that yellow machine. And here's what most fans don't realize. Those hot tires that were scrubbed clean and working at their peak, they're cooling down. The brakes that were glowing red are losing their temperature window. The engine's harvesting less energy because you're traveling at 50, 60 miles per hour instead of racing speed. For the first 2 or 3 laps behind the safety car, your tires are losing grip as they cool. But here's where strategy enters. That cooling is happening to everyone. The car in 1st place, the car in 10th. It doesn't matter. The pack compresses. Now imagine you're back in the pit box. You've got engineers staring at tire temperatures, fuel calculations, and track position. They're asking themselves, do we pit right now while the safety car is out? Or do we stay out and risk being vulnerable when racing resumes? Because here's the thing. If you pit during the safety car, you lose track position temporarily. You might drop from 2nd to 4th, but when that safety car peels away and the lights go green again, you've got fresh tires with full grip. You're hungry to attack. If you stay out, you keep your position, but your tires are colder, older, and you've got maybe 10 laps of this race left. Can you defend with tires that have lost their temperature? That's the fundamental calculation. Then there's tire choice itself. Some teams pit and fit fresh soft compound rubber, the fastest but shortest lasting option. Others bolt on medium compound tires, a compromise between longevity and pace. That choice, made in 20 seconds in the garage, can define the next 15 laps. And fuel, don't forget fuel. A team on a one-stop strategy has already calculated exactly when they can pit. If the safety car comes out, those calculations shatter. They might have enough fuel to stay out and finish, or they might be forced to pit earlier than planned, costing them positions. The psychology is brutal because the best strategists aren't just calculating what's optimal on paper. They're predicting what their rivals will do. If Ferrari pits, will Red Bull follow immediately? Will Mercedes stay out to gain a free stop? Because once you pit, your card is shown. Your rival on the pit wall sees you come in, sees your tire choice, sees your fuel load assumption. They now have real information to adjust their own strategy. It's poker at 200 miles per hour. When the safety car finally retracts and the pit lane closes, you have maybe 90 seconds of actual restart chaos before the racing settles. That's where we see it all play out, where a driver on cold tires with old rubber can't pass someone who just bolted on fresh mediums. And sometimes the magic happens in reverse. Sometimes that older driver keeps their nerve, keeps their tires from overheating while they're under pressure, and simply closes the gap. That's experience meeting fresh rubber. The safety car stops being an interruption to the race and becomes the race itself. Every tenth gained or lost in that pit box decision echoes through to the flag. Let's look at 3 moments where the safety car didn't just shuffle the order. It rewrote the entire narrative of a race. Abu Dhabi, 2016. Lewis Hamilton led the championship by a single point going into the final race against Nico Rosberg. Hamilton had controlled the race, but Rosberg was hunting him, staying close enough to benefit from any tactical opening. Then, with just a handful of laps remaining, the safety car deployed. Hamilton's team faced an agonizing choice: pit and take fresh tires, or stay out and protect track position. They pitted. Rosberg pitted too. But in those few seconds between pit stops, the entire mathematics of the championship shifted. Fresh tires meant a real fight for those final laps. And that fight cost Hamilton the title he'd controlled for most of the race. The safety car didn't hand Rosberg victory, but it handed him a chance, and he took it. Now jump forward to Silverstone, 2008. The safety car appeared early in the race, and McLaren made a call that looked genius at the time. They didn't pit Lewis Hamilton. Their rivals, including Felipe Massa in a Ferrari, came in and took on fuel and fresh rubber. But here's the thing. Hamilton was carrying enough fuel to extend his first stint significantly. By staying out, he inherited track position without ever passing anyone. When he finally pitted later, his strategy had gifted him places. A strategic safety car moment that nobody predicted. Then there's Monaco, 2015, where Nico Rosberg was leading for most of the race against his teammate Lewis Hamilton. The safety car came out. Mercedes had to decide, do we pit both drivers simultaneously and risk the chaos of a double pit stop, or stagger them? They staggered. Hamilton got his tires and fuel first. Rosberg followed moments later. The split-second timing of those decisions, made by people who've done this 1,000 times before, meant the difference between first and second in the most prestigious race on the calendar. That's the hidden story of the safety car in Formula One. It's not luck. It's not random. It's the moment where a team's preparation, their data analysis, their nerve, and their willingness to trust their instincts all converge under maximum pressure. And when it all comes together perfectly, that's a masterclass in motorsport strategy. Now imagine a different scenario entirely. What if Hamilton had pitted during that Silverstone safety car? If he'd made the conservative choice and come in for fresh tires like everyone else, he would have emerged from the pit lane in a completely different position in the order. The undercut he gained by staying out would have vanished. His rivals would have had newer rubber, while he was still managing older compound on track. In that alternate timeline, Hamilton loses positions instead of gaining them through pure strategy. The whole narrative of that race changes. This is what makes safety car decisions so ruthlessly binary in Formula One. There's usually no middle ground. You commit fully to one strategy or the other. The teams that win these moments are the ones willing to make the counter-intuitive call when everyone else is panicking and reaching for the same solution. It separates the good strategists from the truly elite ones. The ones who've studied every possible outcome and trust their data enough to go against the grain. That's the invisible edge in modern motorsport. Not just raw pace, but the courage to be different when it matters most. So let's land on 3 things to remember. First, safety cars compress strategy into seconds, forcing teams to choose between risk and reward with almost no time to think. Second, the counterintuitive call, staying out when everyone boxes, or boxing when everyone stays out, is often the winning move, but only if your data backs it up. And third, this is where elite strategy separates itself from the rest. It's not about following the crowd, it's about having the courage and preparation to go a different direction when the pressure is on. If you want to dive deeper into how teams make these split-second calls, drop a comment below and let us know. Should we break down pit stop mechanics next? Or do you want to see a full race strategy walkthrough? And please subscribe if you haven't already. There's so much more to uncover about the hidden layers of modern racing.